I don't know for sure because I got ran out of town by members that are not only members of the Ku Klux Klan, but they also work for the Federal Bureau of Prisons in Butner.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have a pen and paper?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you the date that I received the threat from them.
From who?
Members of the Ku Klux Klan.
Okay.
Out in the they live all throughout the area. It's known as the Roanoke.
The Roanoke.
Yes, the whole area from, let's say, Wake Forest, on through like Lewisburg, Franklinton, Creedmoor, all through that area going up into Richmond.
All right, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Taylor House Publishing. The woman that you just heard is a former resident of Henderson, North Carolina. And she's going to be explaining during the remainder of this interview on how she was run out of town by what we would just call the white sheet wearers in Henderson, North Carolina. Now, this person reached out to me after seeing one of the numerous videos that we have done on Javion McGee. If you've been hiding under the rock in North Carolina, you know that you would know, or you wouldn't know, that Javion McGee is a 21-year-old truck driver from Illinois who was found deceased in Henderson after leaving Pennsylvania under what we'll just call suspicious circumstances. Now, this woman gives some detail about the climate of Henderson and some other towns that are in the area. So stay tuned. We're going to play this interview in its entirety. I'm also going to add some commentary here and there. But make sure, once again, you like, you share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for tuning in, engaging, sharing the videos. I really, really appreciate that. So stay tuned for this video, and I'm going to come back right after this message.
From local stories to Wayne County news, get ready to dive into everything happening in North Carolina with Taylor House Publishing. Got a story to share? Shoot us an email at taylorpublishinghouse@gmail.com. If you're looking to publish your book or need some top-notch mentorship, we've got your back. Join the excitement with the one and only Richard Taylor, right here at Taylor House Publishing. Speak with Richard directly at 919-587-7782. Don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and invite your family and friends to watch.
From Wayne County to the Carolina coast, Taylor House brings the news you love most. Tune in on YouTube, don't miss a beat. Local stories that keep you in your feet.
Taylor House, we got the scoop.
Taylor House Publishing.
His family's lawyer.
Uh-huh.
To give them information that I have. The information I have could not only potentially, lead to death for me, but it will also ruin my career. But I'm willing to tell the truth because the truth needs to be told.
Okay.
I used to work in the Henderson area. My job title is massage therapist. In the spiritual realm, I'm a light worker.
Okay.
And so I have very good reason to believe that he was actually lynched. I don't know for sure because I got ran out of town by members that are not only members of the Ku Klux Klan, but they also work for the Federal Bureau of Prisons in Butner.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have a pen and paper?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you the date that I received the threat from them.
From who?
Members of the Ku Klux Klan.
Okay.
Out in the they live all throughout the area. It's known as the Roanoke.
The Roanoke.
Yes, the whole area from, let's say, Wake Forest, on through like Lewisburg, Franklinton, Creedmoor, all through that area going up into Richmond.
So the lady is talking about her probably knowing that Javion was not or did not unalive himself. She said that he was probably lynched, as she stated, because of some interactions that she have had with the white sheet wearers, or the Triple K, as they're called. And she mentioned those three cities, Lewisburg, Franklinton, Cottrell, Henderson, Creedmoor, and she said all up and down, I guess, until you get to Richmond. I guess that's those little, small towns where, once again, incidents like this have been prone to happen. But I'm going to let her tell y'all the rest of the story. Okay.
Let's see.
And what was the date that you said you received the threat?
Okay, so the date that I received the threat, which was my last day of working, was actually, let's see, I'm looking at my old calendar. It was January, let's see. It was January of 17th of 2022.
Okay, how did you receive the threat?
I was working at Henderson. Basically, I know for a fact that he's a member of the Ku Klux Klan because when my dad was a kid, he called my dad a nigger and beat him up. And my father beat him up so severely that the Klan was looking for him, and he had to live in New York for some years. Oh, so your father?
So you're black?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So that's how I know he's a member of the Ku Klux Klan, because my grandmother and her grandmother actually had to hurry up and hide him, so the Klan wouldn't lynch him.
Okay.
And so this was probably...
So what she's talking about is a man, and I blocked out that man's name for her safety because people would know who she is. But she mentioned that the man who came into her place of business, which I also blocked out, was the same man who got in an altercation with her father when her father was a child. And she stated, as you heard, that her father beat him up, and he beat him up so severely that the Klan was looking for him, in which he had to relocate up north. Now, if any one of you people have heard those stories, I've heard plenty of stories where a black child was accused of doing something, and the Klan would come looking for him, and they shipped them out north or further down south or whatever, but they knew they had to get him out of town because, once again, they could not hide them from the Klan. And evidently, this is the daughter of that gentleman who had to leave after severely beating up a white child when he was a child. So, and that's the insanity of it all. But we'll continue.
It's probably back in the 1960s.
So that was your father?
That was my father.
Okay. He beat. Okay. He beat up. Who was he?
He works at the Federal Bureau of Prisons in Butner.
Okay.
And I'm not for sure if he's a correctional officer, but he does work there.
Okay. Okay. And so, how did he send you the threat?
Him along with other members of the Klan came in one by one that day. And this was the same day that they passed, well, I don't know if they passed it or not, but they attempted to pass the anti-lynching bill.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, you know, tell your people that my people are going to keep on killing y'all, and we're not going to stop killing y'all.
Oh, yeah, that's what he said in public. Anybody hear that?
Nobody heard that, but I did report it to my employer, which is like the owner of, and he didn't do anything about it. Now, I did report it to the feds, and they told me to like not say anything because there was an investigation going on in regards to sex trafficking.
Okay.
And so basically I was made to sign documentation that I wouldn't say a word about any of this.
Okay. So then you heard that her say that the gentleman came in right around the time that they passed. I guess that's the Emmett Till anti-lynching bill or whatever. But we see how effective that is. But nevertheless, and he told her that his people will never stop killing her people. And then she told her employer, she told the feds, and, you know, they told her to be silent about it because there was an investigation about some other matter. But her employer as well told her to be silent. And that's, you know, why these things keep happening is because, you know, people choose or are forced to remain silent. Let's continue.
And they told me to not even report it to the state board, which is like the licensing board that I'm under. They told me not to even report to them because they told me that basically the corruption is so deep in the state of North Carolina because the state of North Carolina is a free will state. So basically it's not a commonwealth and they're not under the same federal guidelines as like, let's say like Virginia or Maryland, New York. They're not considered to be commonwealth.
I understand.
And so, but basically, one by one, they came in. Basically, that's the one that threatened me. The others, I think they just came in for intimidation. Okay, the correct date is February 21st.
That's when you was threatened. That's when they came at you.
That's when I was threatened. And so it was the first one that can't come in. He came in, and he also worked for the Federal Bureau. Yes.
Now, how do you know these individuals? Like, how do you know their names?
Because I worked as a medical practitioner.
Okay.
And basically, you know, I think the reason why they felt comfortable coming in there is because my father is James, and he also worked for the Federal Bureau of Prisons.
Okay.
But he didn't work at the Federal Bureau of Prisons in Butner. These people have known each other for generations, like their families have. I'm not sure if you know the full extent of the history in North Carolina in regards to that area. But basically, towards the end of the Civil War, they were fighting real hard to keep slavery alive. These are their descendants. And so, yeah. And so, I think, you know, he was trying to make good on the threat.
And so there she talks about the people in that area towards the Civil War. You heard her say that area, and you guys can look this up. I know about the South, and I know that North Carolina, made a lot of money off slavery. So, as she stated, the people who wanted to keep slavery alive are the people who live there now, are their descendants. Now, she also talked about the individuals working for the Federal Bureau of Prisons in Butner, which is, a prison my mother used to work at, and also her father working there as well. So, and I've been in some jails and some institutions of incarcerated learning where, you get that vibe from the certain people who work there, so that's something that I know a lot of people can testify how they're treated by guards in those places, in those country towns, especially up in the mountains. But let's continue.
A lot of people there are afraid to speak up because the people that actually run that town in that whole area are the Koch brothers. And I don't know if you've heard of them or if you're familiar with them. They're the ones that, they own the Dollar Trees and the Dollar Generals and the Family Dollars and the Roses.
Okay. You said
yeah, and so pretty much everyone in that area is up under their thumb in some shape, way, or form or another.
Uh-huh.
And so, when you speak up, there's always retaliation and consequences.
And there she mentions a prominent family in the area who owns a lot of businesses. And she mentions that, they have a lot of influence. People are under their thumb, which goes on in a lot of different places, not just North Carolina. But I know here in Goldsboro, there are a lot of prominent families as well who hold a lot of influences on decision, law enforcement, court situations and the like, especially the economy. So, once again, this is not, she's saying nothing that is foreign to me.
No matter who you are.
So how does this relate to Javion's case?
Because in this area, they don't like outsiders. Period. If they recognize you're an outsider or you don't belong to the area, you're watched from the time you step foot until the time you leave, if you're blessed to make it out to leave. Now, he wasn't the first one to be lynched out there. They lynch people out there on the regular that are from out of town. So this occurrence is nothing new for them. What's new for them is that a lot of people are hearing about it, and a lot of people are starting to know about it. And it got more attention than they would have liked to have received.
There she mentions, well, this is not the first time that this happened. But of course, a lot of the other times they were probably covered up. And as she mentioned, that this one may have gotten more attention than they would have liked. So they have to kind of deal with it in a manner in which they wouldn't normally deal with it.
I will tell you this: if you go to the golf course out in Henderson, which is like along Kerr Lake or Carr Lake, depending on which side of the Virginia-North Carolina border you're on. Sometimes you'll see a torso with vultures eating it.
What you mean sometimes you'll see a torso? You mean like in a vision or like in a...
Like it had been there for a while. Like strange fruit that just fell off a tree.
You said sometimes, so it's not there all the time. It just disappears and comes back? Is that what you
No,
said?
it like when I say sometimes, I mean like you can drive through Henderson and like maybe every few months there might be like a vulture eating somebody's torso that looks like it belonged to a black man. There's been other mysterious deaths where people have been hung. What I'm saying is he's not the only one. Everybody's afraid.
So that a sister, you know, she talks about a torso being eaten by vultures, and you heard me ask her, was that like a vision or is that a real life thing? Now I don't know if you know about Cherry Hospital here in Goldsboro, North Carolina, but that was the hospital for the Negro criminally or mentally insane, and they said so many catastrophes were done there that they, you know, sometimes they see people walking down the halls and, you know, they hear people talking and, you know, they see people, you know, crying or whatever that case may be. So they said that, you know, and a lot of people say that that is real. So I don't know if this is one of those situations where, you know, there's the ghost of the person or the spirit of the person, you know, manifesting in real life and showing their torso, or are they real torsos? But she did mention that she's a light worker. So a light worker, if you know, I had to look that up, as someone that, you know, is choosing to live aligned with their soul. And so maybe she has some spiritual inclinations that, you know, I may not, or we may not, or others may not be privy to. But that is something that I wanted to clarify. Okay, was it a real torso hanging from a tree? Or was it, once again, a spirit of a torso hanging from a tree that you can see? And I hope that just made sense. I hope y'all tell me if that made sense to y'all in the comments.
Afraid to tell the truth, which is people get hung there on the regular.
Okay.
It's not anything new. It happens quite more frequently than people would like to believe. Now, do I know for sure these particular people? No, but I'm just trying to let you know the climate and the atmosphere that actually exists, that nobody's going to tell you to your face. And don't be surprised if you're not being monitored also.
Yeah, so I get that same energy. Like I said, I've been talking to one mother down in Angier County, and that's not close, but it's one of the small towns. You know, her son was found, quote unquote, hanging, and they said he lynched himself with his jeans. You know what I'm saying? He lynched himself with his jeans. So yeah, that's I definitely understand. I certainly appreciate you for reaching out. So what I want to do is pretty much, you know, kind of share this information, but without, you know, without saying anything that will put you in harm's way. As far as, you know, blocking out things that, you know, would be, you know, would let people know where to identify, like where you used to work and who your father is and things like that.
And so that's how deep it goes. Like, if you're successful, or, you know, anything that they see about you that they don't like and you're not from there, it automatically puts a target on your back.
Yeah.
And I believe with what I experienced, I kind of feel like because I was making a considerable living, you know, because I don't know if you noticed, but there's a lot of poverty in Henderson.
Oh yeah, I was, yeah, I definitely I was out there, so yeah.
Yeah, and the poverty is severe, and a lot of people are afraid of, I guess, not, like, they're afraid of losing the scraps that they're given.
Okay, that's why they're kind of hesitant. And you know, she makes a great point about, you know, there being poverty and people afraid to lose the scraps that they have. I'm not talking about any individuals, but you know, that's a something that, you know, I've witnessed in even the corporate sector. You know, people, I've been in, you know, corporate offices, and you know, supervisors come in and yell at people, mothers and wives and sisters. And I'd be like, would you yell at them if their husband was there or their son was there? And they would be like, be quiet, Richard, be quiet, because they was making money. So they let their need for money supersede their right for respect. That makes a difference. But I definitely just wanted to chime in on that aspect right there. Kind of hesitant to speak up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because the people that stay, like, in Rocky Mount, Roanoke Rapids, was considered to be Eastern or Northern North Carolina.
Yeah.
They get really fearful. I'm not as fearful as everybody else.
Okay.
I've had my share of run-ins with law enforcement after being ran out of Henderson. So I know they're fearful enough of me to try to, I guess, have me imprisoned. Tried multiple ways of trying to, you know, have me murdered. They never worked. I believe I'm covered by God. Will not believe, I know. How can I say it? A good place to, a place that people kind of gather at is the Golden Skillet. That place is always busy. And then there's another place that people gather. It's right outside Henderson. I can't remember the name of the little town, but there's just like a gas station, and the gas station is right next to, it's not the Marine Corps, but it's Corps something. It's that organization that helps, like, teams get a trade.
You're not talking about Cottrell, are you?
Huh?
Are you talking about Cottrell, North Carolina?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to end the video right there. I think we got the bulk of what we needed to hear. Here is a young lady who lived in Henderson, was professional, had a, you know, professional job, and was basically ran out of town by the Triple K, the white sheet wearers, you know. And because of that, you know, she reached out to me in regards to the Javion McGee case. And she wants us to know that, yeah, this is, you know, this happened often, but is covered up more oftentimes than not. And she also mentions, you know, people of the area afraid to speak out about it. Now, of course, just yesterday or early this morning, I released a video of the young Caucasian, well, you know, the Caucasian woman who mentioned once again that, you know, her brother was at a party with, this ex-officer, and, he had everybody was walking around with the hats at the party. Now, mind you, this was 2006, right? But still, as she mentioned, the people there have children who saw that. And as she just mentioned, this incident happened in 2022. Some people say that the Klan is still listed in those towns, those little towns around their phone books. And I'll definitely have to research that, but it is definitely still alive and well. And people, I just read some comments earlier where people, said that, we act like, and then this was a white person. It was like, you act like, the police and the courts and the prisons are not all run by the Klan, So once again, there's people of Caucasian persuasion who will admit to that type of behavior, that type of mentality, that type of ideology still being present in this day and age. So I don't want nobody to, once again, discount this testimony, the other testimonies in relation to the unfortunate demise of the young man, just because, it doesn't happen. They don't, back in the days, you'll see a picture of, a lynching that have the whole family out there. They'll be eating sandwiches and laughing and pointing, just because it doesn't happen like that. If you are in that, if you have that bloodthirsty, that evil mindset, then that thirst for blood, that's thirst for destruction and domination just does not go away, but you have to do it. As somebody said, you have to do it differently. They do it differently now. So we're going to, once again, I have another lady from Western North Carolina who just said that her grandfather was an Imperial Grand Wizard in the Triple K group. And once again, these are not black people saying this. These are white people saying this. So once again, until we come to the important conversation to say, okay, yeah, this does exist. And this is a possibility why Mr. McGee was found like that. And under all those circumstances, if you haven't, heard all of the numerous inconsistencies, implausibilities of his demise, then, you can go back and watch some of my videos, or, you can just Google it and you'll see certain inconsistencies. But nevertheless, once again, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for liking and sharing and subscribing to the channel. Thank y'all for the support. And every day, just the channel keeps growing, and it's only because of you guys. So I thank y'all. I don't take y'all for granted. I appreciate y'all for watching. Appreciate y'all for calling with the information, the encouragement, the motivation, the inspiration, and all of those things. So 919-587-7782, or you can email me at taylorpublishinghouse@gmail.com. Peace and blessings. Y'all have a great morning, evening, or afternoon, whatever time you're watching this video. Peace.
Richard Taylor, right here at Taylor House Publishing. Speak with Richard directly at 919-587-7782. Don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and invite your family and friends to watch.
From Wayne County to the Carolina coast, Taylor House brings the news you love most. Tune in on YouTube, don't miss a beat. Local stories that keep you in your feet.
Taylor House, we got the scoop.
Taylor House Publishing.